Hey everybody, welcome to the newest episode of The Bearded Gamer Show. As always, I am your host with the fantastic beard, I know. You got beard jealousy going on right now? Huh? Chris Arnone, Bearded Gamer. All right, guys. Good news, bad news. First off is some good news. Now, this comes about Mass Effect 3. It's going to have apparently several different sort of storyline action options available right from the get-go. Now, you'll be at the beginning able to select the settings, either story, role-playing, or action. Now, in story mode, it's going to make all the action stuff really easy, so you can just like mow down enemies. So if you're more the person who just loves a story, but you kind of suck at third-person shooters, that's really more for you. Action, however, is for people who are more like the first-person shooter fans, where it basically puts the story on rails and then just really focuses on the action. And then role-playing will be more what you're used to with classic Mass Effect. Now, they're also reassuring that don't worry, everything will be selectable and tweakable, individually. That these are just sort of groupings of settings, but everything is tweaked. You can control it however you want. You can make it the classic Mass Effect experience, or you can change it up a little bit. And they've also been very clear that the version of the story that's on rails for action is not canon, that there is no canon. The game is all about choices and things that work out differently depending on your choices, and they're not trying to imply that this is the way the story should go by any means. But I just think it's good that they're giving people more and more options. Options are always a good thing. The ability of the gamer to cater the game to the way they like to play and the way that they have fun, that's always a good thing. All right, some more good news. Speaking of Mass Effect 3, apparently there's going to be a demo cross-promotion between Mass Effect 3 and Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. So, if you play the Mass Effect 3 demo, you will unlock for the full version of Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, the N7 armor and Omniblade daggers. Now, conversely, if you play the Kingdoms demo, then in the full version of Mass Effect 3, you'll have unlocked the Knight armor, which is shown in this picture here, and the Chakram launcher in the full version. So, that's really cool. I mean, demos, it's something that's completely free, and yet by just downloading the demo and playing it a little bit, you get this extra little bonus in the full version of a game that you maybe plan to get later. Because personally, I have no plan to buy Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. But of course, I'll be buying Mass Effect 3. Big fan of the franchise. But that's enticing me to go and play the demo of this other game. So I think it's just a brilliant little piece of marketing and cost us, the gamers, nothing. It's fantastic. All right, some bad news. Now, there was a tweet a few days ago from a Blizzard community manager who was naming Josh Mosquera as the lead designer for Diablo III for consoles. Well, now the bad news is Blizzard has come out and said, okay, whoa, we're not confirming the development of a console version of Diablo III. Now, it's something that they have been exploring for a while, but they want to be very, very clear and very sure that the console version doesn't feel like a port. It feels like it was natively developed for consoles. So it's something that they're still exploring right now, but it's in no way confirmed that they're truly developing Diablo III for consoles. So, personally, I've got a gaming rig that'll run it, and I played the first two Diablos on PC. I can't really imagine it anywhere else. I think I tried the PS2 version of Diablo 2, and it was just weird. Like, it paused the game when you went into your inventory, and it just didn't jive with me. So, but we'll see. For all the console gamers out there, I'm all for more people getting to play Diablo because it's a wonderful franchise, one of my favorites. So let's hope that they find a good path to go down and do eventually make a console version. But in the meantime, I'll just be anxiously awaiting my PC version. All right, finish off with some good news. Now, I've said before, big fan of Alan Wake and that franchise. Well, Alan Wake's American Nightmare is coming to Xbox Live Arcade on February 15th. I was not honestly expecting it to come so soon, but I'm very excited for it. I really enjoyed Alan Wake and will love to play more of that franchise because they pretty much said this is a full-on second game. But beyond that, just Alan Wake, this will kick off the 2012 Xbox Live House Party promotion, which will also include I Am Alive on February 22nd, Nexius on the 29th, and then Warp on March 7th. So really cool. Like I said, I was not expecting Alan Wake so soon. It kind of feels like it was just announced. I guess the VGAs were several months back, but it feels like it just happened. So I'm very excited for that one to come down the pipe and give me something to play on Xbox Live Arcade. All right, enough with the news. Controller confessional time. Now, Ken Levine is the head of Irrational Games. Now, these are the people behind BioShock, the first one, not the second, and the upcoming, of course, BioShock Infinite. Now, he recently did an interview with GamaSutra. Now, I really love this interview. I have a background in theater. Majored in college, did some tech, some acting, some directing, some playwriting. Well, Ken Levine also has a background in drama. That's what he majored in. He did a lot of playwriting, did some directing, and that's sort of how he flowed into video games. And also why Irrational has always focused so much on narratives. And he talks a lot in this interview. There's some great stuff I'm not even going to get into about, the differences between, writing for a play and writing for a video game. But what he really gets into is his specific hatred of cutscenes, how he doesn't like them. How he specifically says, if your game, your narrative, requires a lot of cutscenes, get a new narrative. And I think he's got a great point there. I think it shows... Okay, let's look at games like Final Fantasy XIII and how linear it was and how many cutscenes they were. And Square Enix was very quick to say, well, cutscenes, that's just a part of Final Fantasy. That's how we tell stories. But the engines are so nice now, you don't need to do cutscenes. This is an interactive medium. The whole point is that you, the gamer, have a controller in your hands. You are interacting with what you see on the screen. So I think if you spend too much time taking away from that, doing too many cutscenes, you should be making movies, not video games. It's not the same thing. Different rules apply. With a movie, you're just telling a story. You're showing people a story. Here it is. With a video game, you're part of that story. You're helping forge that story. We look at games with great narratives. You're talking about Uncharted, where there's a banter going on constantly. Of course, the Mass Effect series, where you're actually making decisions that change the game in a broad sense. That's true interactivity. I think he makes a great point. I think it used to be we needed cutscenes. It was hard to create an emotional connection. He actually specifically talks about at one point he was working on it ended up being canceled, but a Star Trek Voyager video game way back in the day. And he had written in that the camera zooms in on Janeway's face and her eyes widen with terror, and the designers had to come up to him and say, her face is a 32 pixel by 32 pixel bitmap. We can't zoom in on it, and we can't make her eyes get big. So back then, we needed cutscenes to create an emotional connection because the in-game engines just weren't enough to convey that beyond just text. But now we have an ability to go beyond that. You look at some games that have really shown that. In specific, of course, I always go back to L.A. Noire with this incredible facial capture technology. Heavy Rain, for that same matter, really what it was able to do by capturing emotion on a character's face. It's just really fantastic. And so I think, to me, cutscenes, they're prehistoric. They need to go the way of the dodo and the dinosaur for the most part. There is still a small need for it. You don't want to have a player with his camera turned over here and something important to the story is happening over there. So sometimes you got to do kind of go, okay, look over there, because that's important. But to full on take you out of the game, and it's just not needed anymore. Another good example of what you should do, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker had these comic book style cutscenes, and you interacted with them. They were QuickTime events, but they were QuickTime events that didn't punish you if you didn't get them right. It would just back you up a couple seconds and give you another chance. So it made you feel like you were still interacting with the story, even when it was during a cutscene. So, Levine, I give you mad props. I love BioShock. Very much looking forward to BioShock Infinite. I love that that connection to theater, and I can see that now definitely in your games. Wonderful, wonderful thing, and I think it really points out that there are some games that the narrative is part of why they're great, and there's some games that might have a great narrative, but you can see how it holds back the game, and I think we got to get more of this and less of this. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Finish up with the Software Soundoff. So it's time to talk about video game sales yet again. Now we're going to talk about, this is global sales, the week ending December 31st. Top 10 best-selling games. Of course, this is the week after Christmas, so we're going to see a big drop in numbers compared to the week before. All right, number one, back at it again, Just Dance 3 for the Nintendo Wii. Sold another 562,000 copies. Ubisoft is just rolling in it on Just Dance 3. Number two, of course, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 for Xbox 360. Moved another 500,000 units. Number three, Connected Ventures, 472,000 units. Now, of course, Connected Ventures means that is Connect. That's the number of Connects that were sold because that's how it's bundled. So still, that Connect just selling really, really well even the week after Christmas. Number four, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, this time the PS3 version, sold another 466,000 units. Okay, you want the big grand total, big, drum roll going on. Between PS3, 360, and PC, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has sold now nearly 23 million units. Just mind-boggling right there. Number five, Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, sold another 453,000 units. Number six, Super Mario Land 3D. Again, the 3DS sold another 403,000 units. So looks like the 3DS definitely finished the year strong because software sales, that's how you really gauge the success or failure of a console. So that's really great. Number seven, Star Wars: The Old Republic. Its second week on here. Big drop from the number one spot the week before when it came out, but still sold another 361,000 units. Number eight, Battlefield 3 for the 360 makes a comeback up the charts. Moved another 239,000 units. Number nine, Assassin's Creed Revelations, 360 version yet again. 233,000 units sold. And finally, number 10, because it's Mario and Sonic. I mean, how's it not sell? Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. I'm really tired of saying that really long title, but there it is again. 230,000 units. So that was the top 10 for that week. So now, of course, the next Software Soundoff will look at the first opening weeks of 2012. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time.